52 and 1-866-6775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content this morning, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender. Chris Karalis is in the house. Welcome.
Good morning, Ron.
Glad to have you with us.
Thanks.
And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we are celebrating today. It is National Chocolate-Covered Raisin Day. I enjoy some chocolate-covered raisins. Of course, chocolate-covered almost anything sounds good when you have beaten anorexia, as I have, and you just enjoy eating. Moving right along, what's happening in the markets today? It's pretty interesting watching what's going on in Washington, D.C., but down in a little bit north of there, New York City. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 34 points. Oil up 12 cents per barrel, and the U.S. 10-year Treasury down to 2.404, which means we are seeing a little bit of a fall in mortgage rates. You've got a little bit of a reprieve. May not last very much longer. It depends on what happens with the health care vote, although I think there might be some folks in Washington that are starting to learn, maybe, and it's the freedom obstructionists are the group, I think, that might be learning that there could be a bit of a challenge dealing with the new president. He's not quite the rollover that the last one might have been. Basically said to him, you know something, it's your choice. Do you want Obamacare or do you want this new program? Take it or leave it. I'm out. Love that idea. And Nancy, what did Ms. Pelosi have to say? I guess she's not talking this morning. Actually, you know something? I've got this soundbite from her, and it's the best I've ever heard her sound. Nothing.
That was a good soundbite.
Good soundbite. Like that one, Chris? Moving right along. So I heard a very interesting commentary this morning. Louis Gohmert on there. That was an interesting conversation as well. So it's a lot going on there in Washington with this whole mess, although we are seeing investors are just kind of standing by. They're not doing a whole lot of anything. They want to see where we're going. I listened to an interesting...
We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Figures she'd interrupt every time. Unbelievable. So it's you gotta love live radio, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
You know, Chris and I were talking before the broadcast about some of these programs where they do editing and make things sound different than what they really were. Obviously, you can tell when we get interrupted like that and when some of the sounds don't come through like they're supposed to. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio live. There is no editing. We are not changing this around to make it sound good. And as you can tell, if you are watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv or Facebook Live, or later on the about 30,000, 40,000 people that are going to see us on YouTube, they're not watching because of how good we look either. So that's just a different story. I mean, I got a face for radio, Chris. I've told everybody that for a long time. I know, and there you go, agreeing with me. Good of you to agree with the host, Chris. I think I'm going to move right along here. It's a Friday morning, and we're Maybe we're already out. Maybe we've already gone out the door. I'm not sure. It might have been a good idea. I know we chat in the office here as we're getting ready for the broadcast. Maybe we should have gone out the door just a little bit early today, but we'll move right along. So I was talking about the interest rates and the markets, and I was listening to one of the financial news networks earlier this morning. And they made a very, very interesting comment, and it was a commentator. I really enjoy listening to him. Not that I've ever agreed with anything he says, but commentator Juan Williams, it's very interesting listening because he said that, the market's gone up because everybody's so excited with the continuation of the growth from the Obama administration. And I just really started laughing. My soundbite still is a little bit slow this morning. We'll probably hear those guys in just a minute here, maybe. I might have to throw this thing away today. But here's the issue, is the market is not based on what was happening before. The market is a forward-looking instrument. They're looking at what's going to happen in the future, trying to predict the future. And the prediction has been that the Trump administration will get the health care reform done, which is about a $900 billion tax savings. Wow. And then they're looking at, maybe they'll get their tax reform bill done. And we can start getting more competitive with the rest of the world, and the businesses, instead of paying 35 or 40% in taxes, they might be able to go down to 15 or 20% in taxes before they get double taxed when the ownership takes the money after that. And you remember that I've told you this many, many times. I'll debate anybody anytime. Corporations do not pay taxes. No matter what they say, they don't pay them. What they do is they collect them from you and me, and then they pass them on to the government. Think about that. If they weren't paying 20 or 30 or 40%, if Apple didn't have to figure on paying 40% taxes, do you think your iPhone might be a little bit cheaper? Just a thought. They have to build that in because they know it's a cost.
You know better than that.
No, we know that's exactly it. That's what I was trying to get you to say earlier. A little bit of a delay here on my guys on the sounds. I don't know what's going on here. That's kind of you gotta love technology. That is an Apple iPad, by the way. So maybe it was somebody over at Apple didn't like the commentary this morning.
You should blame Mitch.
Blame Mitch. Always blame Mitch. Mitchell did it. I confess. He's probably listening right now. He might even be watching on RonSiegelRadio.tv or Facebook Live. Gotta love it. But the bottom line here is corporations, and I know this is California, and I know you don't want to hear this, but corporations don't pay taxes. That's another place that they charge them to you and I and just pass them through to the government. So every time you vote for a new tax on a corporation, well, in Los Angeles, we know you like direct taxes too because you just voted to have a higher sales tax. So that's just where it is with those folks. But think about some of these issues. It's just the way the world works. So the investors are waiting to see what happens with healthcare. If the bill goes down to defeat, I suggest we may see a sell-off in the market. I'm not sure whether they're going to vote before the market closes today or on Monday, but we'll see what happens there. February durable goods orders rose 1.7% from January, a little bit above the consensus. Our existing home sales not looking good on their numbers, but why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. People are not putting their homes up for sale. They don't realize they've got as much equity as they do, and they have the ability to put their homes up for sale. Just another thought right there. If you're contemplating selling your house, this might be a great time to do it. We've been talking a lot through the broadcast recently. We've been spending a lot of time talking about retirement and reverse mortgages. And again, you know that I'm a big proponent of the reverse mortgage and getting it as soon as you turn 62, just so you have it in place and you can plan. There are strategies, so it'll cost you absolutely nothing to get that reverse mortgage. But one of the questions I do seem to be getting more and more is some confusion about Social Security. And I would share with you that I am not as much a guru as some of our friends that come in and talk about Social Security. I don't know if she's allowed to. I'm going to say right now, my friend Allie Ferguson is great on Social Security. Sometimes those compliance people don't like her to talk about it on the broadcast, but you can talk to her in person about it. But what is full retirement age? The basics here. Full retirement age determines when you're eligible for your full Social Security benefits. Technically, you can start getting Social Security at age 62. But your check is diminished if you start at 62 and don't wait till full retirement age. And full retirement age could be anywhere depending upon when you were born. It could be 66, it could be 67, depending upon when you're born. And every year, if you start at age 60, say at full retirement age, going backwards to 62, you lose about 8% a year. But if you wait till age 70, you're going to get about 8% a year. You can actually make up those numbers by using the reverse mortgage. Start getting money out of your property, which you're paying probably 4 or 5% interest on. It's deferred, so you don't have to come out of pocket with it. And increase your Social Security by 8% a year just through the normal methods of the way it works. Think about that concept. It's just a plain planning process. And I like to talk a lot about financial planning on Ron Siegel Radio because that's how you really get the best results for your family. We talked yesterday a lot about tax planning. We talk about retirement planning, maybe mortgage planning. We're going to talk today how do you plan to reduce your energy expenses? We're going to talk to Chris Karalis about that one. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. How low supply and high demand impacts the real estate market. I wonder what my friends over in the economics department would say about that. Low supply, high demand, economics 101. That might be the thought right there. Set your own credit card limits and improve your life. 15 best jobs if you're under 25, and every one of them pays over $40,000 a year. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. The replay is available, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Worthy Cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, any mortgage, VA, USDA, FHA, first-time home buyers, downsizing, right-sizing, any of them, refinancing, debt consolidation, Gold Star has the programs for you. And just between you and me, I know no one's listening, just between us, when you call over there, tell them that Ron said through the end of April they're going to waive all your lender fees. Just say that. Ron said you're going to waive all our lender fees till the end of April. 800-306-1990. Call him up, tell him that I said that, and we'll just see what Rick has to say. It's his money. I don't care. 15 best jobs if you're under 25 and they pay at least $40,000 a year. Love that idea. Under 25, paying $40,000 a year. Interesting stuff here. Let's see if we can find them. Some of these are. It's very, very savvy here. Number 15 on the list, web developers. Now, I remember the days when people like Chris and we could figure out how to use a computer. Now, I don't know about you, Chris. I got to go to my kids.
No, it's what it is. My 14-year-old is an absolute guru. I can't figure anything out. I'm still trying to figure out Facebook.
Well, I noticed you had a rotary phone still. just question. Think about that one. Web developer, $34.09 an hour, $70,907 per year. A public relations specialist, $65,853 per year. Sound engineering technician. We could use one of those right about now. Oh. Wow, the guys are here actually pretty quick that time. So the sound engineering technician, $62,000. Surgical technologists. I'm going to love that one. I don't know what a surgical technologist is. $46,000 a year. Automotive service and maintenance technician. We used to say just mechanic is the word we used to use. I don't know. $40,800 a year, and I think they make more than that.
Yeah, I think they do.
Electronic home entertainment equipment installer and repairer. $39,000. I think that's a little understated. Film and video editors. $80,000. If they can make me look good, they're worth $80,000. Yeah. Physical therapy assistants. Lloyd, you listen to this one? Physical therapy assistants. $55,000 a year. Camera operators. $57,000 a year. I got a tripod for $40 on Amazon. It works just fine. Forensic science technicians. $60,000. Environmental science protection technician. $46,000. Adult education and literacy teachers, $53,000. Coaches and scouts, $40,000. Social science research assistants, $45,000. There you go. There are 15 jobs if you're under 25, paying at least $40,000 a year. Just a thought for you. That's the Word on Wealth segment brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. I think I saw on here an environmental efficiency expert was on the list. And it said, what does it say the salary is there? Oh, he's not even... Another one of the guys... There we go.
You can't handle the truth.
They didn't say what the true number is here, Chris. I thought we'd have your... as an PR specialist, I guess that's where we put you in.
I'm still stuck on adult that word.
Literacy.
Yeah.
We'll get one of them to come help you. Perfect. We couldn't have segued that one any better if we had to. Okay, so let's get back on topic here because we want to talk a little bit about saving money And one of the concepts, Chris, that I want you to share with us, because I've heard some people talk about this, and it is an area that I think is missed a lot when we're talking about energy efficiency.
Right.
Because the ads on TV are very heavily geared on this concept of put in solar, put in solar, put in solar.
Right. Solar solves all problems. Just put it on your house and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And being that the advertisers, and I shouldn't say that because we might want some of them to be advertisers for us, but the advertisers are mostly solar installation companies.
Correct.
So their motivation is to sell more solar.
Right. Yeah, tire companies don't do washing machine.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
So their idea... But the idea here is if we're really being efficient or looking to help the environment, our focus would really be, I think, on what can we do before we put up solar to minimize our total consumption.
Absolutely.
Talk about what do we...
Yeah, so what I wanted to come on today, Ron, is a couple things. First off, there's a dozen things you can do before solar. Again, there's nothing against solar. I install solar. I believe in solar. I believe in a net zero home. But you want to reduce before you produce, obviously.
Explain that one, because a lot of people I've talked to when I use that slogan, because it's one of the state's slogans.
Right.
And I don't usually quote too much that comes out of Sacramento as being good, but this happens to be one of them.
Right. And ultimately it's this, okay, let's just for sake of argument, we have a $500 electrical bill.
Okay.
And now with that $500 electrical bill, we have a swimming pool, we have a very large house, we have the heater running all the time in the wintertime, we have the air conditioner going all the time in the summertime, and my house faces due south and we get a lot of sun. Well, we could just do solar. I could put, and just for sake of argument, I'm just picking out a number, I could put a $50,000 solar system on that property. And now I'm a net zero per se for electricity, but is that the most efficient? Is that the smartest way to do it? Is it the best way for the environment? No.
So what are our alternatives then?
So the first thing you want to do is obviously with your home, the age of the home. If your house was built before I'll just go through a good number, like before 1990, you might want to check.
So a lot of California is built before 1990.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, and especially in Orange County, we're looking at 1970s to 1940s, and in many cases earlier in the Los Angeles area. And insulation in the walls. Most people don't realize, they think they have insulation in their walls, but they don't. Typically before 1970, there is no insulation. And there's a real easy way to test this. You could take go to any light socket, take it off. Take off the plastic panel.
Right.
Take a look inside. If you could see insulation, you have insulation. If you see wood in the back of the other wall, you do not have insulation.
It doesn't like it drop down or fall out of there or disintegrate or any of that kind of stuff?
I really hope not, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just...
no, you'll be able to see it right there. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go on record. I'll say the same thing I've said many times, especially when you've been here. I don't even know which side of a screwdriver to use.
Right, yeah.
So
right. It's a real easy test. Just take that off, take a look, and obviously we could get people out there as well to take a look for you. But just a simple act of blowing insulation just into your walls, right off the bat, could reduce your electrical bill.
Okay, now I'm a tech nerd, Chris.
Okay.
I love all kinds of technology. In those homes that were built in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
right, that age,
in that whole range, did any of those have the wiring for USB connections?
No, absolutely not.
Or for putting my high-speed internet in?
No.
Cable?
Yeah, no.
So if I'm going and putting insulation in, can I do those things at the same time?
Absolutely. You could definitely do that. There are companies that do that. We could assist with that as well. But yes, especially if you need to do a rewire of a property, it's very easily done at the same time. And believe it or not, insulation is done from the exterior of the property. We actually drill holes way up really high in the house now. It's the way to do it. They'll stick a tube in really high, and they'll actually pump insulation in your walls all the way around.
Really?
Yeah.
How many holes do you have to drill in the house outside?
It's a lot of holes, but they're real small and they're up real high, so it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
So you make you in just the typical line. You know where I'm going, Chris. We've known each other way too long. You're going to then have a holy house.
Yeah, holy house. Oh, wow. So
now my guys don't go to work. Yeah, figures the drummer will come here in a minute.
It'll
Chris.
be 12 to 17. but that's one of the first things, Ron, that you need to do, especially if your home is built from before 1990.
Told you, there's a little. They're a little slow today.
Yeah. But that's would be the first thing I would look into.
So insulation. What about one of them I've heard frequently is ducting?
Ducting, absolutely. And I wanted to get into ducting as well, especially I was going to segue into that with air conditioners and heaters. If your heater or air conditioner is over 10 years old, it's most likely extremely inefficient. The technologies now with heaters and air conditioners, especially with SEER rating, they're so much more efficient that they're almost like computers these days.
Really?
Where every few years you're going to have a bigger model per se, but it's from the energy.
I don't think I want to get a new air conditioner every year though.
No. But if something today opposed to 10 years ago it's night and day from the energy consumption.
Okay, Scott, I'll tell him I just saw your message on here, so I'll let him know to call you, Scott. Scott wants you to call him after the show.
I'll call Scott.
Cool, good deal. Okay, so we've got insulation. We've talked about ducting. Here's one that a neighbor of mine did some time ago, and it was pretty fascinating to me. And I thought, I know she's a smart lady, might even be watching, I don't know, but she took and put this valve on her ducting in the garage. So that in the winter, and I know I'm gonna goof this up because I'm not a scientist.
Right.
In the winter, she pushes more air upstairs.
Correct.
And in the summer, she pushes more air downstairs. I think it's the other way around.
Correct.
Because the heat rises and the cold falls or whatever.
Right. So now today's technologies, obviously, especially there's systems called the Nest that are connected to your phone. There's ways to make the house efficient and actually have the air go to the right locations to cool it off correctly. Yeah.
Okay. So and when I think Eileen Oldroyd was on, when we talked about some of the ways of some of these inexpensive methods of reducing your expenses, and Nest was one of them. That thermostat being a very good tool for that. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. How low supply and how high demand impacts real estate. Set your own credit card limits and improve your life. And don't forget, tell them at Gold Star Mortgage, just call 800-306-1990. Tell them you heard Ron Siegel say that Rick's going to pay and waive all of your lender fees until the end of April. Just tell him I said that. We'll just have some fun. I'm not going to tell him if he's not listening. It'll be just our little secret. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/ Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube, or you can go into the archives of ronsiegelradio.com. Probably about 500 shows right there. You can see them all or listen to them all. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by AskAboutReverseMortgages.com. Set your own credit card limits and improve your life. That's an interesting one. Now, I have a feeling when we're talking about this, no, you don't get to increase the limit on your own. But here's the idea is just know what your limits are. Have your budget in place. You don't need to call your issuer and ask for a lower limit because that's going to hurt your credit scores. What I want you to do is just make sure you stay below 30% of your available number. Don't spend more than 30%. Have a good budget. Understanding that concept, it's going to help your credit scores over the long term. I'm going to suggest, and I just shared this with one of my sons recently, so I'll share it with you as well. Go to Starbucks. If you're a Starbucks user, I'm not going to recommend you go to Starbucks. I'm just going to say, if you enjoy Starbucks, and I think Chick-fil-A has their app now, a couple of others do as well. They'll allow you to automatically refill your app from a credit card. So here's the plan, is you use the credit card, refill the app, then just pay the credit card at the end of the week. That way you've never got a balance, the credit card stays active, and you're always going to have a good credit score because you're always just paying it off. Just a thought for you. That's the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by AskAboutReverseMortgages.com. For those of you 62 years of age or older, and you've got some equity and want a little bit of freedom, understand the program. We'll share with you the knowledge about the program so you can make an educated decision. We're going to continue our conversation, or we are continuing our conversation with Chris Karalis. We're talking about energy efficiency this morning. And as you could probably tell, I'm not the most efficient person in the world, but when it comes to an ability to save money, I like that idea. Mark, you're probably game on this one also. Good to see you joining our broadcast this morning. So, Chris, we were talking about net zero. We've talked already this morning about insulation and ducting.
Ducting, right, correct. Ducting will help.
Now, you mentioned something that I have no clue about. Well, you mentioned a lot of things I have no clue about. So let's talk about this one. Cool walls.
Correct. Yeah.
Does that mean like you got to paint them real nice and cool, or I'm a guy of the '70s.
Right. So
no psychedelic stuff, though, buddy.
I forgot we're on radio. It's a newer trend within the last decade, but it's been around for a while.
A new trend in the last decade. I like that.
Yeah. But it's coating, and it's coating on the exterior of the properties, and it's actually, and I'll elaborate more, but imagine a paint that is lifetime on your house, that you never have to paint again, for one, is waterproof. So actually, it will waterproof your house, will never dull, never fade. I believe over the life of the product, it's like a 1% fade. And it was going to reflect, hence cool wall.
Okay.
Lower the temperature of your house possibly, depending on obviously the topography and the direction, 5 to 7 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if it's 40 degrees outside, it might be 33.
Well, obviously, you want to retain whichever you're trying to do inside.
Just harassing you, buddy.
We're cool, but yeah, it's a paint that is reflective, and it's a coating, and a lot of people don't know about it, but is one of the greatest products, especially if you're going to be in a home.
That sounds expensive, though.
It is expensive because the way to look at it, it's going to cost you nearly double than a normal paint job. But let me tell you this: you're supposed to paint your house every 5 to 10 years. What if you only had to paint it once and never had to paint it again? Let's go ahead and look at it.
So does that mean that if I'm planning on living in my house for 30 years, we're looking at, is it 6 times the amount of money as it is for
correct
doing a regular paint job?
Correct. Well, it'll be cheaper. It would be cheaper. I mean, the initial cost is obviously going to be more expensive, but over time, if you truly were to paint your house every 5 to 10 years, as you should, which most people don't, but if you did, it's a substantial cost savings for you.
Because usually, from what I hear, is as a mortgage person and involved in real estate, looking at other people who do real estate, the first thing I hear when they're talking about painting is, how cheap can I get it done to make it look good?
Right, and that's just well, I won't say bad, but it's just the wrong way to look at it. What if we could coat this house? What if we could paint it where it's going to look brand new forever? Actually waterproof the house, because paint is not waterproof.
I never knew that either.
Yeah, it does breathe, and obviously this would eliminate water coming in. This type of paint, we're going to put all the way down to the foundation, actually below the dirt line. And so you're not going to have any water wicking up into the house, and it's a great way to get to a net zero because it's going to assist.
So that is energy. So that does qualify as an energy efficient program.
Absolutely, it reflects heat. It's going to lower, potentially lower the temperature inside the home, and obviously it'll keep it warmer as well by a cool wall.
So now, let's just talk about planning here again, Chris. Mm-hmm. Do I do the cool wall before I do windows, or do I do windows before the cool wall?
Well, it's a combination. We got to look at the direction of your house. Obviously, we have to do an on-site visit to truly see what you need first. But windows, and I'm glad that's a great segue into that, Ron, windows are huge.
Right.
People don't realize on how inefficient their windows are. Now, if you live in Orange County, San Diego, or Los Angeles, and your house is not within the last 5 years, I guarantee your windows are not efficient.
Wow, just in the last 5 years, because right before the mortgage meltdown and the real estate meltdown, everybody was doing windows.
Correct.
And those windows are all outdated now.
So the technologies in the windows, I mean, now everything is a dual pane. You have an argon gas, you have a silver nitrate in the window. The efficiency of windows...
No, wait. You went to an area that I'm familiar with a little bit, Chris, but in a different context.
Absolutely.
Argon gas.
There's argon gas.
That's the same thing that we use to refill the wine bottle when we use that Corrigan.
Multiple uses, Ron.
Yeah, so I can take the gas out of my wine bottle and put it in my windows.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, it's. Windows today, just for lack of a better way of saying, obviously have an R value now. I mean, they
have a what value?
They have an R value, it's like an insulation.
Oh, okay.
They have a different rating, but the way to say it is, in many cases, your windows can be more efficient than your walls. I mean, it's very possible, especially if you have an older home.
Wow.
With new windows.
Okay. Because I don't know if you've ever seen it. You know me, Chris. I'm easily distracted. So I heard the argon gas, and I'm thinking, and it brings us right back to the Corrigan extractor. A little bit of wine. It's not even Wine Wednesday, but it's almost 5 o'clock somewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're taking care of the wall coating. Now we got to go to the roof.
Yeah, to the roof. So right now there's another thing that's energy efficient as well is you have Article 24 roofs. And what an Article 24 roof is, it's a reflective roof. And they're lifetime. Corning actually offers a reflective roof that will reflect heat.
Now, I'm not a real savvy. I'm a simple guy. You keep using this term reflective.
Correct.
So does that mean that the cars driving by on my house or the planes overhead are going to get blinded
we're no, but the way it's designed, it's going to reflect heat. The way to think of it is when you have a car.
So it's not like a mirror type effect.
Correct.
Okay.
When you put that insulated visor in your car in the front window,
right?
Obviously if you put your hand outside, you don't feel really anything reflecting, but it's the same principle.
Okay, gotcha. Now I understand.
Yeah,
I've told you I'm a simple guy, Chris. I don't understand a lot of this stuff.
Right. And so if you are looking to get a roof, especially with the roof damages of the rains recently, look into a lifetime roof. It's and a reflective roof. Those are the terms you need to know.
A lifetime reflective roof.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and then those are ironically enough, we've been talking this morning for about 20, 30 minutes about this now. And we haven't even talked about solar. Everything we're talking about right now is still reducing our consumption.
Correct. Now, we're reducing our consumption. We're better insulating the property, and we're retaining the heat and air, inside the property. And we're making it just a more static, which is, in this case, is what we want. We want it to remain the same inside the property.
So once we get it to whatever our desired temperature is, we want it to stay there as long as possible. So we don't have to pay for heating and air conditioning to get it back to that desired temperature.
Correct.
That's the focus of it.
Correct.
Perfect. We're gonna get to the big gorilla here in just a few minutes. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. How low supply and high demand impacts the real estate market. We'll talk about that as well when we come back. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Get on a home search, no advertising. And the beauty of it is real simple, that you're going to find your dream home before somebody else finds it. How low supply and high demand impacts the real estate market. The concept of supply and demand is really simple. The best time to sell something is when supply of that item is low and demand for that item is high. Pretty simple stuff. This guarantees the price paid for that item increases as supply diminishes. Well, that's what's happening in today's real estate market. There's not a lot of supply available. There hasn't been a 6-month supply of inventory since August 2012. Sales are now at a seasonally adjusted rate of 5.48 million homes. That means 15,014 homes sell every day. That's just an average number. Anytime you're less than 6 months supply, that would be a seller's market. Right now, nationally, we are at a 3.8 month supply. February marked the 60th consecutive month of year-over-year price appreciation. And again, the national median price, $228,000 per home. Buyer demand outpacing the seller's supply almost everywhere in the country. Just think about Economics 101. As long as there is more demand than supply, prices continue to go up. Great time to be making a real estate move. And think about this also. If you're looking to buy something, well, if you're selling, now's a great time to sell because you're going to maximize, but then you're going to have to buy as well. And that's going to put you on the flip side, but then you become a net neutral, right? Because if you're buying and it goes up 5% and you're selling and your old departing property goes up 5%, you're really not gaining or losing anything. So take action when the time is right for your family. That's the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Continuing our conversation with Chris Karalis this morning, we're chatting about energy efficiency, home energy efficiency more specifically, and we just want to get to the concepts here. We've talked most of the morning about reductions, and the idea here is the more you can reduce your consumption, again, the less power you're going to need, whether you use electricity or some alternative form. The less you need, you're saving money. So you go through and you do the things we've talked about. Now think about all the things we've spoken about this morning. And think about the last commercial you saw on television. So we talked about insulation. We spoke about deducting. We spoke about cool wall coating. We've spoken about the roof.
Right.
Chris, there's something...
And the windows.
We talked about windows.
Right.
There's that, and again, you know me, I'm not the technical guy. That, was it radiant barrier? The thing that goes inside up in the attic?
Correct. Yeah, and the radiant barrier, a couple things that will happen with that. One, with the insulation, we would insulate the house to that. And obviously with the roof, doing a lifetime roof, we would add a radiant barrier. So you have multiple levels to reduce heat coming in and obviously losing heat and air.
Whole house fans, where does that fit in?
Absolutely. Whole house fans, yeah. It's a great way to actually remove the heat out of the attic and keep the house at a constant as well, without a doubt.
So look at all these different processes we've talked about, and I'm going to suggest, now I have seen a couple of ads, not many, for the whole house fans. Right. Those I see those little yellow signs on the side of the road that they have something about whole house fans.
Right.
And just what I want to do. Now I don't know anything about construction, but I don't know if I'm really looking for a little yellow sign on the side of the road to be my referral source.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen people loan money and things. Yeah,
right. I mean,
I wouldn't do it.
It's find somebody that's a professional. That's why Chris is in with us this morning.
Right.
So, hi Sean, good to see you there, and I see Lucas has joined us as well. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jared. Glad you're with us as well. Jared, I'm gonna just share this with you right now. I hope Chris is paying you for that comment that you just put on there. So I just am. He owes you some money for that one.
I can only imagine.
Okay, so now let's move on to the big behemoth.
Right, solar. So the way to look at it this, Ron, everything we've done. Now I want a car, that wants to go 200 miles an hour. There's a couple ways.
Rumor has it you've already tried that.
Yes.
Don't want to cause any trouble here, but
CHP will confirm that. But I mean, I don't know if anyone here watches Mythbusters, but you could put a very large rocket on a house. You can. You could put a Sidewinder missile and get any Buick to go 200 miles an hour. You can.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. It's inefficient. It's pointless. It truly is. If you don't take these necessary means to the house, where you do the coating, the insulation, and get your house correct, ultimately you could be putting a giant missile on your house for electricity with solar.
You're just wasting a lot of money.
Wasting a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah. So another thing I want to realize, the cost of electricity is going up 3 to 7% annually. So what we want to do is make the house the absolutely most efficient as possible.
Sure.
Because the system you have today might not be efficient for you 5 to 10 years from now. So we need to make the house as efficient as possible. So these are necessary steps you need to take, especially when you're looking at solar.
So what's the life expectancy of some of these different things? I mean, we talked about the paint was lifetime.
Lifetime with the paint.
The roof was lifetime.
Lifetime. The coat, yeah. Ultimately, your windows have a lifetime warranty. Everything I'm talking about is for long term. And obviously insulation is long term as well. That's not going to break down as well. So if you can make the house as efficient as possible, and just by these upgrades, if I could lower your electricity bill by 30 to literally 60%.
Yeah, because we started our conversation with $500 a month electric bill.
Correct. Now, if I could bring that, let's lower that down to $200. I mean, it's very plausible. You can do that, especially if you have a heater and air conditioner. If we did upgrades of that nature, now we only have a $200 problem opposed to a $500 problem.
Okay.
Now, where I want to get with this is, I could build you a system today. And obviously, this is hypothetical. We got to get out there. There's numbers. There's so many variables. But your house needed a $500 system before.
Right.
Well, now we have a $200 problem, not a $500 problem. So now it's going to be much more cost effective to build a system for a $200 problem opposed to a $500.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about. We don't need to put a missile on top of. With that.
So now we're basically talking about something where we might be looking, and again, I have no clue what I'm talking about, other than we might have been looking at 10 panels, and now we're looking at 4 or 5 panels.
It's plausible, yeah.
Right. I mean, we don't know the numbers,
right, yeah.
We're just throwing out numbers there, but that's the concept. Is
Correct.
That and a 4-panel system is going to be cheaper than a 10-panel system.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do a 4-panel. We're probably going to be
close. But I mean, you can multiply that times 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever your property needs are.
So, and the point is, with the cost of electricity going up, now we had a $500 problem initially, but we took all these necessary steps. Now we have a $200 problem. I can now plan for the next 15 to 20 years when the cost of electricity, that $200 problem, because it's going up 3 to 7% annually.
Sure.
That $200 problem will become a $500 problem 20 years from now, but we've already designed the system today that's producing today. So basically, for the life of your home, we should be able to get you to a net zero.
Nice. So, but now here's we've got some great information there. Now the next problem that we're going to deal with is we look at it. Okay, I'm paying $500 a month, and in this country, we basically buy payments.
Correct.
Right. I mean, that's really what we do.
It's true.
I mean, everybody that I know would. I would venture to guess, everybody listening to us on all the medium that we're on, if I said to any one of these people that I've got a Bentley available for you, everybody that wants a new Bentley can have one, and it's going to cost you $300 a month.
Right.
Again, I bet we could get a line all the way down to Mexico or something for that, right? Because we want to buy payments.
Right.
How do we afford all this stuff we've talked about this morning, Chris?
So one of the advantages, obviously, as a general contractor, I accept cash, I accept gold. I'll barter in cars. But
especially the ones that go 200 miles an hour.
But California came up with a program called PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy.
Okay.
I know you're familiar with this, but they allocated about $900 million about 7 years ago for homeowners through the state of California to do green upgrades. And basically this program allows you to get 10% the value of your property. So for sake of argument, if you have a $500,000 house, you get 10%. You can get up to $50,000 for your green improvements. Now it is a loan. It's not free, Ron.
Okay.
But it's the freest money you could get.
Sure.
And so there's no out-of-pocket costs. So if you needed solar, so we start, obviously we would come in, evaluate your property. We say, yes, you need insulation. No, you don't need windows. Yes, you need a roof. Yes, you need coating. And then, yes, we could build a solar system from there. We could do all this, get all the assessments with this program. And then from there, we build it. No costs out of pocket for the client. And this is not just me. This is statewide. Okay. So, and then ultimately you have a payment. Your first payment on this program could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months out. In some cases, a little farther out, your first payment. Sure. And then I'm getting stuck now. 12 to 18 months, and then from there, it is 100% tax deductible as of right now. Okay. Because it's a line item.
We want to make sure you talk to your tax professionals because we don't want to be giving tax advice.
Right.
But that makes it so we can afford it. So, correct. So basically what we're really doing there, those of you that are accounting wizards, is we're really just matching up the expense period with the recovery periods. You're going to be reducing your amount, your payment of your going to the electric company, and you're going to be sending it out to this financing vehicle. Correct. So you get it all done at the same time, but you end up saving money over the long run. Absolutely. That's the bottom line to it. If you want more information on this, I know it gets a little technical, but the bottom line to it, you can reduce before you produce and you can afford it. Said it all in about 10 words, and Chris and I have been going through this all morning. And be sure to set that first radio preset button, though, to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. If you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember my mantra, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
I'll just call it a day. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Have a good weekend, everybody.